You could look at me. Could you tell us your name and who you are? You're
Okay.
with Windsor?
Yes, my name's Kathi Brown Martin. Our family arrived in the 1850s and purchased the first piece is by the Pequannock Firehouse on Pequannock Ave in Windsor. And we started out with tobacco and grew tobacco up until about 5 years ago. So 2017, I think we stopped growing, but we still lease the land to other tobacco growers and using the tobacco sheds. My great-great-grandfather bought the property by the firehouse. Well, it wasn't the firehouse, but bought the property by the firehouse, and he manufactured cigars, and by horse and buggy, he took it and sold it, the cigars in Hartford.
And what was his name?
And his name was James Brown. Not the famous James Brown.
And you have a photo that you...
And I have a photo, yep. So initially, they grew the tobacco on the same plot that they also made the cigars. So my great-grandfather is here, looking quite dapper, and then his brother, Eugene, is upper center. And these are the workers that help them with rolling cigars and getting them ready for sale. And then years later, this turned into our asparagus shed. The family grew asparagus back in the 40s and 50s, and we still grow asparagus today. So up at our Rainbow Farm, off Rainbow Road, we have asparagus and other vegetables, fruits, strawberries, etc. So we're still in farming, 6 generations, and we hope to continue. Jenny, are you laughing?
No, I'm like so happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then,
All right, so you're gonna edit this.
Yes.
Yes. And then could you tell us again where was this shed?
Okay, so on Pequannock Avenue, there's the farmhouse, and then the Pequannock Firehouse is on the corner, which I guess years ago the family donated for the town hall that was on that corner, and then it turned into the firehouse. So this would be in the back corner behind the farmhouse,
Very cool.
and it is no longer there.
How many children did your grandfather have? Your great-grandfather?
My great-great-grandfather? I have no idea. My great-grandfather had 5. My grandfather had 3 sons, and then my dad had 4.
And most stayed in Windsor, or just
Nope.
some?
Nope, they didn't. Which generation are you asking about?
Just sort of.
But you have enough
Well,
to
we
say-
still have the farm in the family, so we have 6 generations that we're still, adapting to the 21st century, hosting more events and family. The focus of getting the families out to the farm and enjoy the open space and fresh air and fresh vegetables.
We do enjoy that.
Michelle, are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
This is like torture.
Can you
Awesome.
hold it?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. A little, just a teeny bit higher.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be a glare, so, but you have the original anyway.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
That's awesome.
And I love that you brought this out
You
here.
did a great job.
Oh, you're very kind, Jenny.
I'm not-
It's like the last thing I want to do. No offense. No offense.
So important. It's just great.
No, I was thinking about that the other day, like last week. All the generations are passing away. I'm like, oh, like my dad passed a couple years ago. I'm like, and I don't know. Like,
yeah.
they're no longer here to ask anymore.
I know.
Right.
Like, how many kids did my great-great-grandfather have? I could go look it up, but I don't.
Right.
We don't think that far
Right.
back.
Right.
Nice job.
So yeah, so my great-grandfather was a state rep from the Windsor, and he was also a judge. So when we were cleaning out that house,
Stanton?
yes. Oh, good for you, Michelle. I'm so proud of you.
Stanton is the name?
Of my great-grandfather, and then my father was named Stanton as well.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So we found some really cool things in that house.
Nice.
It's 1799 it was built,
Yeah.
and it's haunted. Just so you know.
I have a picture of Stanton Brown as a teacher at Rainbow.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Down. Oh, up here.
I can't remember what school, but he's like leaning and looking cool with his
Oh, really?
his, like 1890s mustache.
Oh, I should come visit.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
yeah,
wondering
yeah.
if he's smoking a cigar in that picture.
I think he was not born for this.
No, he passed away. He was only like 55 or something when he passed. So he was younger.
Oh.
Yeah. He was gone before I was born.
Wow. Yeah, and then I have this other picture that I think stands in the
Senior.
Yeah, is in. It's not labeled, but he looks just like the guy who's labeled Stanton Brown in this other picture
Okay.
as the teacher, so as a younger person. We have old pictures of him as an older person because he was very involved in the town.
Yeah, in politics, and he was the judge.
Yeah.
So we'd find old paperwork, so and so was for drunkenness or whatever. What they
Yeah,
called
yeah,
it back then, they had a word for it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Yeah. So, and then my great grandmother was Flavia Thrall.
Oh, no way!
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I'd like to learn more about her.
So would I. It's on my list of things to write an article about her because.
Are you running the film?
It's still on, yeah. But
Oh.
I can shut her off. Sometimes when you're chatting afterwards,
Ah,
you can get a
okay,
little bit
all right.
story. I can shut her off if you want me to.
I don't care.
Oh.
So,
I don't want you to even think about it because you're giving more information to her right now.
yeah, so she was a famous clairvoyant, and so there's some really cool stories.
Yes, and I've read that she's this world famous clairvoyant. Not
Yeah.
just famous, but world famous.
Yes.
But I've been dying to find out who in the world knew who she was outside of Windsor. Who is she famous to outside?
So
But
she-
it's always her clients were secret. You couldn't know who. Her
Yeah,
clients
so
were.
I think it was even presidents. But she was my grandmother's grandmother.
Wow.
And she had this back room with all these herbs, and they would call them potions, but she was an herbalist.
Yeah, and we have one or two of her recipes.
Really?
And,
I gotta
little
come
bottle
visit
with
you.
with her name on the label.
Really?
Yes. I wonder who gave them to us then. I wonder.
It could have come from my Aunt Charlotte, who lived in that house for quite a long time. And then
Wait, your Aunt Charlotte.
Charlotte Brown.
Charlotte Brown.
So John Silliman was quite involved in collecting artifacts and stuff. So he was able to get her to donate some of the things.
Oh, okay.
So it could have come from her,
Yeah, that makes sense.
along with maybe a picture like this.
Yeah, yep.
So yeah, so Bob would come and chat. I mean, her house was like this. I wish we didn't have to change it because it could have been a museum because from those mid 1800s especially, the pantry, the porch because they put in plumbing after a while, of course. But it was just, I don't know, it's just a neat house. A neat house that's not as neat as it used to be. That's what happens. But it is haunted.
The ghost of Flavia.
No, I don't think so, but they're not like unhappy spirits, just it's maybe I'm part clairvoyant because of my great grandmother.
Well, we've got this wooden cow in our hands-on learning center that has an udder that kids can milk. And we've named her Flavia after
Oh,
Flavia
really?
Thrall.
Yeah, I
Got a
wish
little
I knew
bell that
more.
says Flavia.
Knew more about her. She passed, I don't know, a long time ago. So even the other generations, she. I wonder. I have another family picture that has that generation and has Stanton Brown in it. But he was sick, and that's why he died young. So he was obviously sick in that picture. But it's one of those cool family photos, it's probably in the summer, and they get their straw hats on, and they're all, so stoic and they're sitting and